Hey there, lovelies! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Maddie, where I love to talk all things makeup. And if you want to see how I achieved this toasty monochromatic fall look, then just keep on watching. I first want to start out with my eyes because I want to make sure I get them just right before I go in with my face. And instead of using a eyeshadow primer, I am going to use my concealer just because I know that my eyeshadow primer is a little bit on the lighter side, which is great when I am looking for a perfect punchy eyeshadow look. But for this one, I really want it to look kind of natural and blend into my eyes a little bit more. And then when I come and put my powder on to set that concealer so that my eyeshadow will last all day, it's just mostly going to give me a very blank canvas to work on. I'm going to be using my ColourPop Grandeur palette because this has so many nice warm browns in it. And I'm going to be using the color Velvet here. And I'm just going to put this very lightly all over my eyelid to give my eye some color. Now, if you're doing something like this where you're just giving your eye a wash of color and you have hooded eyes, make sure you bring that up above your crease so that you can open up your eye a lot more. I'm not putting very much on my brush so that it doesn't put too much color onto one place on my eyelid. I'm just using a very flat shader brush to apply that. And then I'll come in with my fluffy blending brush and just make sure that that's all blended out. Next, I'm gonna come in with my Too Faced Killer Liner in Killer Chocolate. And this is gonna lay down the base for where I wanna put the rest of my eyeliner. And I'm bringing it in, and then I'm gonna stop before I get to the middle of my eye. And I wanna blend this out a little bit with just a very, very flat top brush. Then I'm going to skip the middle of my eye and I'm going to bring it in the inner corner of my eye. Use that same flat shader brush and I'm going to bring that along my lash line here. What I want to do next is take my nude eyeliner and put that in the middle of my eye so that I can help brighten up my eye a little bit. So it's almost like I'm doing kind of a halo eye. Really, I'm just kind of making this up as I go with my eye look, but it's so much fun to do. I want to come in with the color Dusk, and I'm going to put that on the brown liner and smoke this out even more. I'm really playing into those warm browns. Don't worry if this is looking too thick out here. I can come in and clean that up afterwards. That's why I do my eyes first. Now I want to take a little bit of the color House, and it's this really shimmery gold color, and put that on the nude eyeliner in the middle of my eye. So pretty. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the other eye and then we will come back and do the base. Got both eyes done. Now this line is looking a little thick for me on both sides. This side I did clean up just a little bit with my fingernail. You can just really sharpen that up. That's the nice thing about doing your eyes first is now I can come in, I can really sharpen and clean this up, which I could also use my nude liner and concealer to clean that up even more. But I find that with my fingernail, I'm able to sharpen it up just how I want it to. For the base, I'm going to be coming in with my Charlotte Tilbury dupe here of the Hollywood Flawless Filter from Five Below. When I think of toasty, I think, warm by the fire. So I really want to play into that with putting this shimmer on underneath my foundation so that it's kind of playing off of those flames a little bit. Now I'm going to be coming in with my foundation that is matte, but I'm just going to be barely putting any on so that I can really let that underglow shine through there. So it'll be matte in places that I want it to be matte and then shiny in places that I want it to be glowy. And I'm using my trick to be able to apply just the right thin amount is using a makeup spatula like this one that I have here. They're super cheap. I just got this one off of Amazon in a pack that came with a makeup palette as well for mixing colors. So I find that with my matte foundation, this one specifically, can tend to look pretty heavy on me, but when I use just a thin layer amount, it's really not too bad. It's so funny. I used to be, you know, oh, all full coverage, and it must just be an age thing. I'm not sure, or maybe it's after wearing makeup all these years that I've just come to embrace my skin a little bit more, and I don't mind if it peeks through. I don't need full coverage. And also with the aging, that does mean more wrinkles, maybe your pores are shining through a little bit more. Whoops, almost forgot. Cannot forget color corrector in my eyes. But I just find that the full coverage is just kind of a lot for my skin. So skin tints are definitely becoming my new favorite. I used to think, you know, back in the day, when they were first coming out, like, no way is this gonna stick. This is crazy. Who would ever want something so thin? But I find the thinner the layers, the better, and it just wears way more fluidly on your skin. There is an occasion for full coverage, but on a day-to-day basis, I like minimal. This is where I can really get precise and clean up those lines. Definitely want to make sure to set that concealer so it does not budge. I'm not going to worry about setting the rest of my face because I did use a matte foundation. And also I want to come in with some cream products. I've really been loving this Tantour from Huda Beauty, especially if I'm going to be doing some underpainting, because it gives me that perfect kind of toasty warmth for my skin, and it lasts all day. It's funny that it's named Tantour. You know, it's supposed to be kind of like a, I don't know, I guess maybe a tan contour, which is just a bronzer. It's certainly not a contour by any means for my skin tone, but it certainly is a beautiful. Now I'm just gonna come in with a little bit of a rosy red blush here. By using this liquid blush, it's really going to play into that glowiness. Yes, although this is a toasted makeup look, toasted also means, you know, I'm thinking warmth, hot chocolate, brown colors, which means usually I've come in from sledding or, you know, going to the pumpkin patch or going to a festival, which means it's cold outside, so my cheeks are going to be a little bit rosy. That matches with the toastiness just perfectly. Now, on top of that, I do want to put a gold highlighter. Put a little right there, a little bit right there, a little bit on my nose. On top of that Tantour, I am going to come in with my Benefit Hoola bronzer, because this is a warm bronzer on me, like a warm neutral bronzer. And I find that it plays very nicely with that Tantour product. They just really melt together. Just a little bit of nose contour right here, bridge of my nose, and the end of my nose. Let's brush up those brows. Let's finish this eye look. I'm going a little bit outside of my comfort zone and box here with this eye look. It's something I've seen before and I thought it looked really pretty, so I hope it turns out. We're gonna do kind of like a double wing liner. I'm gonna use that flat top brush, smoke it out, soften it. I'm going to make sure to come in with that same warm brown dusk color, smoke this out even more, and warm it up also. It's so funny how each of our eyes are different. This one I have a little bit more of a skip line than this one. And then this is where the magic really comes in. We're gonna take our nude eyeliner, put it between the two liners to really emphasize. So it really, one, helps clean up the lines, as well as two, emphasize that there is empty space between the two. And then last thing that I want to do with my nude liner is just come on the small inner part, throwing on a little bit of mascara. And putting on my mascara, I'm actually going to focus it out here in the outer corner of my eye. I just barely put a little bit right there in the inner corner, but this outer corner is where I really want to pack on that mascara. And I'm also gonna put on in this outer third. This is a trick that I used to do all the time. Put the bulk of your mascara out here, just a little bit in there, but not really too much. Kind of gives you that cat eye effect. Sometimes I wouldn't even put mascara on the inner corner of my eye at all, lashes, and I would only put it on the outer corner. Coming in with a brown lip liner. And when I'm going for an extra toasty look on my lips, what I will actually do is not only outline my lips, but I will also draw in my lips a little bit more in the outer corners, my cupid's bow, and then the bottom part of my lip. And if you haven't seen my dupe video for Charlotte Tilbury products, this is in it. You will want to go ahead and check that out, and I'll link it here in the cards for you. All right, what do you think? If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a big thumbs up and especially subscribe so that I can keep creating more awesome content like this for you. And if you really loved this toasted fall inspired makeup look, then you'll want to go ahead and check out my pumpkin inspired makeup look video that I made a couple weeks ago, and I'll see you there. Bye.